everybody. This is a quick video on how to depin a Mazda Miata ECU harness. Now, you can get aftermarket ones from a place like Bollinger Motorsports or Mouser Electronics, and these are these gray ones. And the engagement on them is pretty much the same. Two different pin sizes, right? There's this large one on the edge and then the smaller ones, but they basically work the same way. The locking mechanisms on both of them are a little bit different. This is the TE connectivity that I got from Mouser or Bollinger Motorsports, and you're going to notice that it literally is just a hinge and it's got these two locking tabs. All you need to do to unlock it is you literally just take a small little flathead, lift on both sides, and you can snap that one up. On the OEM versions, they're a little bit more fancy. You're going to notice that has like this little like spring-loaded thing here. So, sort of cool. But otherwise, when you engage it, you're going to notice it has these like little teeth in here, right, all along here. You basically put the teeth in, and you put it in, then you push all the way up until you can't see any more space in here, and you push down. That's how you lock it. And so unlocking, exactly the opposite. Notice here that it's got just these, it doesn't have a locking tab, but it just has just this little like area where you can stick your thumbnail, right? And so you can put it on both sides, and as long as you can get your thumbnail under both of them, you can basically like lift it up like this, and so it's going to pivot out of the way, and then you can pull it up, and there, full access to the harness, and that's how you start that. Okay, so I'm going to show you the larger version first. Notice the large one has these like two fins on the side. So this one is much bigger, and when it fits in the edge, it's going to have a much tighter fit. So when you pull, just realize if you've never done this before, you're going to have to use, a little bit of strength. Don't use so much strength that you think you're going to rip the wire out, but just realize there is a little bit of friction. You can even tell as I'm pulling it, like there's a little bit of give here, and that has to do with the top edge of these things running right up flush against the sides of the wall as well as the top right here, right? So there's a little bit of friction. But let me show you in a much more cheeseball exploded version what's essentially happening. Let's pretend this is your harness, right? Just like this, right? And notice this one has a little bit of a hole in it. So this is sort of to simulate like this. This would be the hole down here, and you're going to notice there's this area right at the top. That's going to simulate this area. But essentially what's happening is, just like the back of this harness right here, right? As you push this in, right, there's a plastic tab on the top of each of these channels right here, and it's sort of spring-loaded. So as the harness is coming in, right, that plastic tab just slides flat, and then boom, it locks it, just like this. So once it hits this edge right here, that's what prevents it from coming out. So all we're going to do in this exploded view is take a flathead. You could probably even take a very strong sewing needle, right? You may not be able to do a paper clip because it might be a little bit too weak. You need something pretty strong, and I like something a little bit like longer just because you can get in there and really sort of wrangle it. But essentially, you're just going to take and run the flat edge of the flathead and just lift it, right? Just enough so that you can pull it out and pull it out all the way. Now, when you first start, one of the things that I like to do is don't start pulling on the harness, because it's going to cause tension on this and make it harder for you to lift. So what I like to do is push the wire up just a little bit with my thumb on the back end, then I can lift it, and it gives me a much easier way to pull it out, right? So it works exactly the same way on this larger version, as well as the smaller versions right here. It's just this one, the larger ones maybe take just a little bit more pressure to pull out. So let's just show you right here. I'm gonna put it in and you're gonna hear it click, just like that. We're gonna take our flathead. This one is like more or less like a millimeter in width. I'm gonna take that flat side, just like we said, just like this. And you're gonna notice here, I'm gonna put it on the top part. The bottom part is for the pin or the terminal. So the top part, I'm gonna run the flat side along it until I feel a little bit of, okay, so you can hear, maybe you can hear that. You're gonna feel that, and what you're gonna wanna do is try and get the flathead underneath that plastic lip, just like we said. So I'm gonna push forward on this a little bit, if I can, just to give it a little less pressure. Stick it in and then lift. And if you hear it click, that means you let it go and you were very close. I would also, see, and then there we go. You were able to pull it out, right? I'm gonna pull it back, push back in, and you can hear that click. Same thing again, just run it across. Now, see, notice, did you hear that? It had a little bit of tension on it, but once you get it, you're gonna know. My recommendation for beginners is don't get frustrated if it's not working for you and you're getting really tired. Don't continue on this. Walk away, take a nap, go do something else and come back. The reason is because you can get really frustrated and you just start mangling these plastic things, right? If by the time you're in here and you're just like futzing with it, like you're gonna wear it down, and you don't really want to do that, right? Another method that you can use is, in case you just for some reason can't get it underneath like this to lift it, I've also found that as long as the screwdriver is narrow enough, you could use the edge, right? Because it has a much wider section to engage, and then you could sort of like push in and lift it this way. I have a feeling that you have a little bit of potential to cause a little bit of damage to that tab, but you know, how many times are you doing that? Probably not many, and so that's another way to do it. But whenever possible, try and use the flathead along the edge first to lift it. Same thing for this one. Let's just take one more. I'm gonna do one of the small ones again. Top right here. Push in to release some of that tension. Take the flathead, push in till I hear or feel a little bit of, and there, I lift it and I let it go, and